Breaking, Yandy walked off the set not in heels, but in full-blown fury, and trust us, this ain't just another love and hip-hop tantrum. Nope, this is betrayal with a capital B, and it's got reality TV's favorite boss, chick, spiraling into what fans are calling a straight-up meltdown of the century. So ask yourself, what do you do when your so-called ride-or-die bestie stabs you in the back, on national television, while holding hands with the one woman you swore you'd never trust again? That's right, Rasheeda flipped. Jessica got smug and Yandy, oh baby. She snapped. Cameras rolled. Contracts may be ripped, and the internet absolutely unhinged. Is Yandy done for good? Is the Frost Empire crumbling from the inside? Or is this just the quiet before a full-blown cast mutiny? Because when loyalty turns fake, receipts start flying, and everyone's scrambling for damage control. If you thought the last season brought drama, honey, grab popcorn, turn off your phone, and lock your man in the closet. This isn't just messy, it's love and hip-hop, loyalty wars, and the first casualty might be the queen herself. Stay tuned, because we're about to unpack the betrayal that sent Yandy running for the exit. If you thought love and hip-hop had already hit its peak with cheating scandals, social media clapbacks, and explosive reunion episodes, think again, because this time, Yandy Smith-Harris didn't just throw shade, she threw in the towel. And baby, it wasn't graceful. This was no dramatic exit in slow motion. This was real, raw, ugly. A full-on reality TV implosion, with the queen herself walking off set in tears, makeup streaking down her face like the credits were already rolling, and the dagger in her back. Rasheeda Frost. Yes, Rasheeda. The same Rasheeda who spent seasons preaching loyalty, family values, and working through the mess. The same Rasheeda who once called Yandy her sister, her confidant, her day one. Now, she's arm in arm with Jessica, the very woman who's made it her mission to make Yandy's life hell on and off camera. It started as whispers, rumors that Rasheeda had been spotted cozying up to Jessica behind the scenes, laughing, sipping wine, sharing notes like two teenagers scheming in a high school hallway. But last week's taping confirmed everything. Right there, in front of the entire cast and crew, Rasheeda not only sided with Jessica, she humiliated Yandy in the most public, dramatic way possible. Fans who were lucky enough to be in the studio audience say you could hear a pin drop when Yandy's voice cracked as she screamed, "I'm done," and stormed off stage, tears pouring down her face like the betrayal had just hit her in waves. Jessica, of course, wore a smile that could slice glass. Rasheeda didn't flinch, and Yandy, she was left shattered, shaking, completely blindsided by the one person she never thought would turn on her. The meltdown was instant. Lights still, hot, cameras still rolling. Cast members frozen mid-scene trying to figure out if they should break character or just ride the wave. Security didn't move. Producers didn't dare yell cut. Because this wasn't a storyline anymore, this was a friendship crumbling in real time. And it wasn't subtle. Yandy's sobs echoed across the soundstage while Rasheeda, cool as ever, crossed her arms and delivered the line that changed everything. "I can't be part of this charade anymore." The look on Yandy's face. Pure devastation. Her foundation melting right along with her trust. Her fists clenched at her sides like she was holding back every word she wanted to scream. She turned to the crew, to the cast, to anyone who would listen, but all eyes were on Rasheeda, who had suddenly become the villain in a plot twist nobody saw coming. Jock, always the peacemaker, stepped forward and tried to reach Yandy, but she shook him off. She chose her, she muttered, her voice barely audible. She chose Jessica over me. Jessica, never one to let a dramatic moment pass her by, strutted into the shot like she owned the stage. "Did you really think you were untouchable?" she purred, leaning in just close enough to spark flames. And Yandy snapped back with a glare that could curdle milk. "You're the one who's been playing games," she hissed. Cameras zoomed. Mics adjusted. And the crew. They leaned in, because they knew what was happening here wasn't scripted. This was the kind of breakdown producers beg for. The kind that keeps sponsors nervous and fans refreshing their timelines, but Yandy didn't care. Not anymore. Rasheeda stood in the background like she had no regrets, like she hadn't just detonated years of friendship in under a minute. "Enough of this," she said, voice low, almost bored. "Enough." Yandy spun around. "You called this enough." Her voice was trembling, but every word hit like a hammer. "After you stood with her," Rasheeda's lips curled into something that looked like guilt but didn't quite get there. "I stood for what felt right," she said, like she wasn't holding the knife that cut Yandy down. "So you think this is right?" Yandy shouted, mascara, running fists, still clenched. I think aligning with the truth matters more than loyalty to lies, Rasheeda said, turning away like she hadn't just set the whole set on fire. Yandy collapsed against the wall, breath ragged, eyes darting like she couldn't believe what just happened. Jock reached for her again, but she wasn't ready. How could she? She whispered, how could she do this? And Jock, bless his heart, didn't have the answers. People change, he muttered, but you deserve the truth. Yandy's eyes lit up like a match had been struck inside her. Then tell me what you know, she said, voice sharper, now. The weight of those words hung heavy in the air as the director's voice cracked over the speakers. We're live in 5. And just like that, the chaos had to be tucked behind forced smiles and rehearsed lines. Cast members scurried back to their marks. Crew members adjusted lights like they hadn't just witnessed the emotional equivalent of a house fire, but the damage was done. Fans watching from home would have no idea what had just exploded moments before the segment began. But backstage, the storm hadn't passed. It had only just begun. Yandy stood frozen, still reeling from Rasheeda's icy betrayal as the cameras flicked on again, pretending like nothing had happened. But inside, something had shattered. And this wasn't something that could be swept under a rug with a cute, little green screen confessional or a neatly packaged PR statement. No, this was personal. The kind of betrayal that lingers. That poisons every smile, every scene, every fake hug. As the taping rolled forward like a freight train, Yandy's mind was stuck on one loop. How did Rasheeda get here? How did the woman she had trusted, uplifted, and called family fall under Jessica's spell? Because let's be clear, Jessica didn't slither her way into that friendship by accident. No, sources aka makeup artists with extra long ears, Jessica has been plotting this for weeks. Whispering in Rasheeda's ear between takes. Sliding DMs with so-called receipts of Yandy talking slick behind her back. Allegedly, Jessica even pulled up old text messages between Yandy and producers, claiming Yandy was orchestrating fake drama to stay relevant. One insider claimed Jessica said, "She don't care about you, Rasheeda. She just cares about camera time." And the worst part, Rasheeda believed her. Now here's where things get even messier, because while fans were just picking their jaws up off the floor, thinking the dust might settle, someone leaked behind-the-scenes footage from rehearsal day. And what's on that footage? Oh, just Rasheeda walking hand-in-hand with Jessica, glam squad into a private trailer, Yandy's trailer. And minutes later, Yandy storms out, wiping tears. You tell me what that looks like. Word is, there was a heated exchange off-camera, and Rasheeda allegedly told Yandy point-blank, "You've made this about you for too long." Cold, ruthless, and completely out of pocket. Fans were shocked. Social media exploded. The hashtag Team Yandy crowd dragged Rasheeda all through Twitter while hashtag Team RASHEEDA doubled down, saying Yandy's been playing victim for too long. Comment sections turned into war zones, memes flying. One particularly savage meme showed Rasheeda in a Judas robe, with Jessica feeding her grapes. Another one had Yandy photoshopped as Caesar getting stabbed. Dramatic, yes, but entirely accurate. You decide. Meanwhile, insiders say VH1 producers are loving every second. Allegedly, they're scrambling behind the scenes to rearrange next season's arc to center this feud. And not just that, they're even considering replacing Yandy as the central lead. Yep, you heard that right. They're talking about writing her out. She's becoming too unpredictable, one anonymous crew member said. She's not playing ball anymore. She's emotional, off-script, and refusing to film certain scenes. Can you blame her? Betrayed, blindsided. And now the show she helped carry for seasons is trying to phase her out like a tired plotline. And what's Jessica doing through all this? Smirking. Of course. Sources say she's gloating backstage, bragging that she finally broke the queen. One crew member swears they heard her say, "It took one Rasheeda to do what Mona couldn't." Now, let's talk about Rasheeda's motivation here, because nobody just throws away a decade-long friendship overnight unless something deeper's brewing. Some say Rasheeda's been feeling iced out for a while. Ever since her Kirk's storyline ran dry and fans stopped caring, she's been desperate for screen time, and who's always front and center with a dramatic storyline? Yandy. So maybe, just maybe, this whole switch-up was a strategic career move. Align with Jessica, take down the queen, secure a juicy redemption arc for next season. Sound far-fetched? Please. This is love and hip-hop, not Sesame Street. And then there's the money trail. Another crew leak. Bless these messy and that Jessica was allegedly offered a production bonus to shake things up this season. And what better way to do that than to target the crown jewel of the cast? Imagine the producers sliding Jessica a little envelope and whispering, "We just need chaos." And chaos she delivered. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was reportedly approached about becoming co-executive producer of an upcoming LHH spin-off based in ATL if she could prove she still had pull with the audience. So if loyalty had a price, Rasheeda might have just cashed the check. But the real question remains, will Yandy come back from this? Because sources close to her say she's seriously considering walking away. Not just from the show, but from the entire franchise. She's tired, one close friend reportedly said. She feels like she's given everything to this show and they still choose betrayal over loyalty. And fans are starting to notice her pulling away too. Her Instagram's gone dark. No tweets. No statements. Just one cryptic story post showing her staring out of a window with the caption, "When silence is the loudest scream." Classic reality star breakdown energy. But effective, because now everyone's waiting for her next move. In the meantime, Jessica's milking this storyline like it's her last paycheck. Posting selfies with Rasheeda with captions like "Some friendships are real and loyalty looks good on us." And Rasheeda, she's doubling down, telling fans to wait for the full story, and teasing that the truth will come out. Sis, the truth is already out and it's wearing bright red lipstick and betrayal. Jock, Money, and even Cease are reportedly trying to play neutral, but behind closed doors, folks are choosing sides. Money's been seen leaving Yandy's house late at night, while Jock's avoiding filming with Jessica entirely. Even Mona's been pulled in to do emergency damage control meetings. And just when we thought it couldn't get wilder, someone from wardrobe accidentally leaked a voice notice, an actual audio message where Jessica can be heard bragging that Rasheeda was always easier to manipulate than Yandy. Insert popcorn here. Fans flooded Reddit with theories. Is Rasheeda just a pawn in Jessica's grand plan to dominate the next season? Is Jessica the new HBIC? Or is this all one massive setup for the biggest twist in franchise history? Because there's another theory bubbling up and it's juicy. Some fans are starting to wonder if Rasheeda and Jessica planned this whole betrayal together for a joint power grab. Think about it. Take out the queen, dethrone her, and rule together. A cold, calculated two-woman coup, wrapped in fake tears and lipstick-stained wine glasses. Whatever the truth is. One thing's clear, Yandy's not the only one with her back against the wall, because now that this drama's gone viral, the entire cast is under scrutiny. Leaked footage is circulating. DMs are being screenshotted. Alliances are shifting daily. And if Yandy really does leave, there's a vacuum waiting to be filled. A power seat. And everyone wants it. The producers are on edge. Cast members are paranoid. And fans, oh, they're eating it up. Because this isn't just a betrayal. This isn't just TV. This is love and hip-hop history in the making. And the next move, it might just flip everything upside down. And just like that, the fuse that had been slowly burning exploded on set. Yandy didn't just walk off camera this time. She marched out, heels clicking like gunshots, her mic still live, capturing every trembling breath. Crew members scrambled, producers panicked. And VH1's emergency response team, aka 3 frantic assistant directors and Mona on speed dial, were all mobilized in under 5 minutes. Rumors swirled immediately. Some whispered that Yandy was done for good. Others swore they saw her hurl her script binder into the hallway, muttering something about disloyal snakes and "I built this house, and now they want to kick me out." But what really broke the internet? That leaked hallway footage showing her collapsing into Jock's arms, mascara streaked and voice hoarse, saying, "I can't film with her anymore. I won't." That clip alone hit 2 million views in under 6 hours. With fans flooding the comments begging for updates, throwing blame, demanding justice. And while Yandy's breakdown had folks crying on one side of the internet, Jessica was throwing shade on the other. Posting a smug selfie with the caption, "Silence speaks volumes. Loyalty screams louder." What does that even mean? No one knows. But her followers ate it up like leftover drama, and Rasheeda, she reposted it with a fire emoji. Imagine your sister publicly breaking down and your response is to co-sign your new bestie's cryptic shade post. Cold doesn't even begin to describe it. Now the pressure's on. VH1 executives allegedly held an emergency closed-door meeting, debating whether to cut certain scenes or double down on the drama for ratings. One exec reportedly said, We've never had this much attention this early in the season. We need to ride this wave. Translation: forget repairing friendships. The betrayal is good for business. Meanwhile, Mona's been trying to get all three women in a room, privately for a damage control sit-down. Sources say Yandy refused unless Jessica apologized first. Jessica allegedly laughed in response and said, she should be thanking me for keeping her relevant. Woo. But wait, here's where it flips again. A leaked contract. Yes, a contract surfaced on a shady gossip page showing that Rasheeda allegedly signed on for a 3-season renewal after aligning with Jessica. Coincidence? Girl, please, that's not loyalty. That's strategy. Fans now believe Rasheeda never slipped, she pivoted. She didn't fall for Jessica's lies, she partnered with them. Strategic betrayal. It's giving Game of Thrones, Atlanta. And speaking of betrayal, another insider claimed Rasheeda had been feeling like a side character in Yandy's world for years. Yandy never listened. She always made it about her. Rasheeda finally woke up, the source claimed. But that doesn't explain why it had to get this ugly. Why go nuclear when a real conversation could have done the job? Unless, and hear me out, the goal was to replace Yandy. That theory is catching fire. Reddit's in overdrive. Fans are connecting dots, timelines, Instagram likes. Jessica's been cozying up with other heavy hitters on the cast too. And Rasheeda's name has suddenly popped up in production meetings, more than usual. One former producer said anonymously, they want a new queen, and Rasheeda's playing her cards right. Meanwhile, Yandy is still silent. No interviews, no lives. Just one moody Instagram reel walking through a hotel hallway with the caption, "Watch who you call family." Chills. But now, the plot thickens yet again. Because guess who reached out to Yandy in private? Mendices. Yep, after staying out of the chaos, he finally stepped in. Word is, he told her, this show's eating you alive. You don't need it anymore. Fans have started speculating that Yandy's real revenge move might be to quit and take her own spin-off to a rival network. Bet Zeus, even her own production company. The whispers are growing. And here's the kicker, a blue-check blogger claims Yandy has already filmed a secret pilot for her own show, centered around family, faith, and rebuilding. Imagine flipping the script that hard. Walk away from the mess, and make a cleaner, glossier version of yourself, and leave Rasheeda and Jessica scrambling to carry the chaos alone. And while that might sound like a boss move, the fallout isn't just career-based. The cast is now divided into factions. Cease and Money have reportedly stopped filming until the issue is resolved. Filming delays have cost the network thousands. Mona is allegedly furious behind the scenes. We can't have people walking offset every time emotions run high, she reportedly snapped. And as the next table read approached, no one knew whether Yandy would show up. When the day arrived, Rasheeda and Jessica rolled in together, laughing, dressed to the nines, unbothered. Yandy was nowhere to be seen. The room was tense. Crew members whispered. The director kept checking the door. Then, at the last second, it creaked open and in walked Yandy, alone. No glam, no entourage. Just her and a single script in hand. She didn't say a word. She sat down. And the room fell dead silent. Jessica smirked. Rasheeda avoided her gaze. And Mona, standing near the monitors, just nodded. Let's begin. But the real drama was just under the surface. Because right there, in that moment, everyone knew this wasn't going to be just another season. This was war. Yandy didn't come to play. She came to finish what was started, and Rasheeda. She looked nervous for the first time since the whole mess began. Because she may have won, Jessica may have locked in her contract. But she underestimated one thing. A woman who built her reputation on surviving betrayal doesn't just crumble quietly. She comes back swinging. As the camera crew set up for the final group confessional, the tension was beyond thick. You could taste the drama. One cameraman whispered, "This is gonna be historic." And he wasn't wrong. Because when the red light flicked on and the host asked the room, "What does loyalty mean to you?" Yandy didn't even wait her turn. She stood up, faced the camera, and said, "Loyalty doesn't need to trend. It doesn't need to be performative. It's felt. It's earned. And clearly it's rare." Mic dropped out, the room went silent. Jessica blinked. Rasheeda shifted in her seat. Fans watching the teaser clip online lost their minds. Comments rolled in by the second. Yandy for president. I got chills. Someone check on Rasheeda. Because in one statement, Yandy didn't just reclaim her power. She reminded everyone why she was the queen in the first place. And just like that, a new war line was drawn. The producers, delighted. The cast, shook. The fans, hooked. And this season, just getting started. Because, if this is how the battle began, we can only imagine what explosions the finale will bring. Now, after all that chaos, betrayal, walk-offs, and backstabbing alliances, we've got one question for you. Do you think Yandy should walk away from Love and Hip Hop for good? Or should she stay and burn the whole cast down with one fiery confession at the reunion? Because let's be real, what just went down wasn't just drama, it was a full-blown reality TV earthquake. Rasheeda flipping sides, Jessica smirking, in victory, and Yandy dropping mic bombs in prime time. This wasn't a storyline, this was a statement. So what do you think? Is Jessica really the mastermind, or just a pawn in Rasheeda's sudden power grab? Is Rasheeda playing producer's favorite now, or did she just lose the last ounce of respect fans had for her? And most importantly, should Yandy's next move be a lawsuit, a spin-off, or a full exposed docuseries titled Betrayed by My Sisters? Drop your hottest take in the comments, don't hold back. We're watching every angle and ready to expose it all. And if you live for this messy, unpredictable, wild reality drama that feels more real than scripted, make sure to hit that like button, smash subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a bombshell moment, because trust us, what's coming next? Yeah, it's even uglier. And if you think this was the climax, honey, you haven't seen anything yet. Stay tuned, because in the world of Love and Hip Hop, loyalty fades, friendships break, and queens rise from the ashes.